All right, we are getting some breaking news at this moment, and this is huge. The Prime Minister is holding a high-level meeting with the National Security Advisor, with the Chief of Defence Staff, General Bipin Rawat, as well as all the three service chiefs. This meeting has been on since 4:30 p.m. Remember, he met the Foreign Secretary also earlier in the afternoon, and all of this is to brief himself and get more information and perhaps gauge the situation as far as the India-China standoff is concerned. It's an escalation of tension, as was reported by Vishnu also in this exclusive news break just a short while ago. But we are hearing that the Prime Minister now is holding a high-level meeting with the National Security Advisor, the Chief of Defence Staff and the Service Chief, who are in a meeting since 4:30 p.m. This meeting has been going on even now. It's still going on even as we speak. Do know that the Defence Minister also met the Chief of Defence Staff as well as the service chiefs in the afternoon. All of that, of course, in the backdrop. This was all in the backdrop of the escalation of tension as far as India and China is concerned. In the India-China standoff, which has been brewing for a very long time, Vishnu Shom just got a report that there is a massive build-up near Ladakh, where there are fighter jets that are lining up being lined up by China. This is being seen as perhaps some sort of an escalation. And India is taking this very, very seriously. Vishnu Shom now joins us with all the latest. Vishnu, obviously the government seems concerned.
Of course, there's a meeting now which the Prime Minister is holding with, as you reported just now, with the National Security Advisor, the Chief of Defence Staff, General Bipin Rawat, and also the service chiefs over, among other issues, the standoff in Ladakh. Between India and China. This is an issue that's become very serious. The Prime Minister would be briefed of the situation on the ground. As importantly, the External Affairs Ministry would be involved in briefing the Prime Minister, because the nodal agency in many senses in dealing with with Beijing is the External Affairs Ministry. There is very much an effort or a hope that the situation will de-escalate. Point number one. Point number two, as the Prime Minister is briefed, we've been able to learn that the process of commanders meeting on the ground in Ladakh is continuing. There have been approximately 8 to 10 meetings so far. We don't get the numbers because we aren't constantly updated on those numbers, but what we can confirm is that the Indian Army officers meeting their Chinese counterparts are between the rank of Colonel and Major General, and the meetings themselves by local commanders held in many areas. So that's something that's been taking place as well. But what is taking place now in Ladakh is unprecedented, perhaps the biggest border tension and between that India has been in. Remember, there is no border per se, or you can call it a boundary between India and China in Ladakh since the Kargil war. So it's a huge concern because the numbers which have been reported are staggering. There's several thousand soldiers, some would say above 10,000 soldiers, but the army on record are not willing to confirm anything. However, there are multiple agencies from which journalists have been sourcing information, and perhaps there needs to be some sort of official clarity on the nature of the standoff. The areas themselves, Pangong Lake in Ladakh to the south, going right up to the Galwan River Basin in what is called Subsector North in the northeast of Ladakh, and it's that Galwan River Basin area where there's been an incursion of Chinese soldiers along with heavy equipment. We are told about 3 to 4 kilometers are some reports, but the bulk of their forces remain on their side of the line of control. But the presence of the bulk of these forces remains a huge concern.
Absolutely.
And what I've reported today on the airfield construction, which is just 200 kilometers away from the Pangong Lake, indicates that China can deploy fighter aircraft if it wants in these skies within minutes.